Good morning. Been quiet recently because the weather hasn't. It's been brutal in Scotland, certainly in Glasgow. We've had 40 mile an hour winds, we've had lashing rain, we've had golf nets damaged, we've had dogs not wanting to go walks. It's not been good, but we're back to stunning sunshine this morning, as you can tell as it beats down in my face here. I just thought I'd get out in the garden and share some thoughts on power because I was asked about how we increase distance, and it's a common question. That and consistency tend to be two of the big ones. Uh, I think we need to appreciate that some people just have that ability to generate speed. We look at the modern day golfers, Rory is one. I think as a small guy, he generates enormous power. And you can try all you like about measuring this, that, and the next thing about why that happens, but he's probably just always had that. He probably could throw a ball further than other kids at school and kick a ball further, etc., etc. However, we can all increase our speed, and there's no doubt that if you're going to look at your physical state, that would be something to consider. If you're into it that much, that'd be good to get fitter and stronger and more mobile and more flexible. Speed sticks and speed training, definitely worth considering, but it may come down to effectiveness. So we need to deliver the club more effectively. And there's some things you could explore if you feel capable of hitting high draws with a driver. That might be an interesting place to explore, or even just high air. More on the up is definitely something to consider. Long drive champions are hitting on the up a lot, and from what I believe, they're exploring working towards delivering the club 10 degrees on the up. 10 degrees. It's astonishing when you think on tour it's pretty well zero. It might be just slightly on the down, but it's around about zero. They're hitting at 10 degrees in the up with drivers that could be as low as 2 degrees loft. It's astonishing, and hitting it 400 yards. So that's definitely an exploration. I hit the ball a lot on the up. Being an old guy and an old skinny guy with not much power, two new hips, on the up is definitely showing up as the most effective for me. I'm launching the ball very high, and if I can get it turning over a little bit, that maximizes it. A kind of squeeze cut takes 20 yards off any distance that I could potentially achieve. So on the up is clear. Now, I suppose what I'm suggesting is if you can look at drawing the driver, which is a challenge, it's not the easiest shot in the world to develop, and high, I think there might be a few more yards in there. But like all skill, it's got to be earned. It's going to take time and effort. There's going to be a lot of outcomes that are not what you want. But back to the usual, if you can be paying attention to what you're doing with the club, and of course this is at speed, so it takes a lot of attention, a lot of concentration, a lot of commitment to do that, then you may discover that on the up, high draw, if you can learn it and put it in the bag, it could be a nice weapon and definitely give you a few more yards. It may be something that you don't use all the time, but if you've got it in the bag and you feel wide open fairway, long hole, give it a go. What is there to lose? I'm going to just look at or show you maybe some of the ways that I would consider hitting it in the up. And again, I'm just trying to access a feeling. I'm trying to use all my past experiences of hitting things. And again, back to if I was almost hitting it with the back of my left hand or the palm of my right, what kind of position would I like to adopt to do so? I've got a little micro driver out there as well, and a tee that's about, I don't know, 18 inches off the ground, and I've got a tee in my long grass. The rain has definitely created a challenge for me. I need to get the lawnmower out this afternoon. But the ball's teed up, and I've got the regular driver, which I'm going to look at and explore first. So hitting it on the up, people might talk about, get onto your right side at address. I feel unbalanced when I do that, and I don't want to feel unbalanced. I want to feel appropriate. I want to feel as if I can give it a hit. And again, would I lean back with a hammer? I would if I had to, but I think there's another way to get into a position that could deliver force more effectively. Just my take on it. So I'm going to show you that. I'll show you leaning back, and I'll show you where I would be. I'm not going to hit it because my net's in tatters, and if I hit it through one of the holes, then the next door neighbour, a few neighbours down hopefully, now that my power's immense, might have an arrival in the back garden that they're not really keen for. But just to give you a sense of how I get into the position through feel, as always through feel, little internal audit. How does my body feel? How does my hands, club, hands and arms feel? Okay, let's have a look at that. So it's a regular shot, might be here for me anyway. Leaning back would probably look something like that. You can feel pressure in this quad. It's not how I would do it. I would move back and kind of feel as if I'm opening up in a way, so that I'm catching the ball as I go past the bottom of the arc, but I don't feel as if I'm leaning. I feel as if I've almost rotated to catch the ball that way. So that would be my take. Maybe a wee bit easier with the micro driver. Left hand only, non-dominant, backhand. If I wanted to hit it up, would I do this? No, I would do this for me. That's where I would go. Whack that on the way up. So we need to find a position that is going to help us. Back to being Ken Brown again. We need to get into a position that's going to help us deliver it, and it has to be accessed as always through feel. And exploration is going to lead to discovery. So have a guess, have a go, see what happens, but stay committed to the task in hand. The thing about the driver drawing, if you're swinging the club up, this is where it'll really mess with your head. You might have to feel as if the club face is down. So a bit like tennis. In reality it won't be, but that might need to be the feel for it. So I'm swinging it up with the face facing down. That may have to be the feeling you access to see what happens. Logic in your brain will be saying this ball won't get off the ground. You'll probably find it gets off the ground quite easily. Obviously if you de-loft it so there is nothing but negative loft on the driver impact, it's not going to get up. But the fact you're swinging on the up, you might find that it really is quite beneficial to feel as if the club face is facing down. I tend to kind of re-grip it to achieve that and then swing it on the up. I think the other thing is when you're behind the ball and the club face is feeling as if it's facing the ground, so de-lofted, the look is quite daunting. But if we can overcome that and stick to, let's swing it on the up with the face facing forward / down, top spin kind of exploration, you might find that you actually get quite a nice outcome. So that's a possibility, definitely. With a little driver, finding that position address with the lead hand only, to me, just it's so obvious where I would want to be. You know, if we talk about it in tennis terms, the ball would always be in front of us when we're delivering that shot. Can't get the ball in line with our sternum in tennis, or we're having to flick it back just to keep the rally going. So there's a lot of similarities there. Go and give that a go. Have an exploration along those lines and just see what happens, and let me know. I'm going to send a little video on success, and a bit like the two aims. I would say there are two elements to success and how we actually measure it. So I'll do that tomorrow, weather permitting. Have fun.